Yo, we have been treated to another pulsating game of football this afternoon. The last two games in the Premier League involving Chelsea have been breathtaking. In this video, I'll be giving my view on some of the game's major talking points, some of the interesting tactical approaches by both managers, and I'll be explaining how most YouTubers' coverage of Chelsea this season has been incredibly myopic, reactionary, and clickbaity, for lack of a better word. I'm looking at you, Rory Jennings. The poor lad hasn't a clue. Chelsea started this game really well. They looked confident, they looked fired up, and they really went for Manchester City from the first whistle. Not too dissimilar to how Spurs started against them last Monday night. Before the 25-minute mark, Manchester City were awarded a penalty to the bemusement of Chelsea fans and me. Erling Haaland pulls on the shirt of Marc Cucurella before Cucurella pulls him down at the back post. I'm not even sure Haaland was ever going to get on the end of this cross, but for me, it's not a penalty. I'm sure nobody's surprised at this stage that VAR didn't seem to look at the incident in its entirety, focusing solely on Cucurella's shirt pull on Haaland, which he did do. I know I'm going to be on the receiving end of the wrath of many Manchester City fans for saying this, but yet another contentious decision goes in Manchester City's favour. One more thing I do want to say on this is, who the fuck wants to listen to Micah Richards' opinion on this incident at halftime? Jesus Christ. The most biased, insufferable and uninsightful pundit on Sky Sports, and that is a low bar. Chelsea equalised less than 5 minutes later with Thiago Silva heading home from a Conor Gallagher corner. 8 minutes later, Chelsea found themselves ahead when Josko Vardiol's error allowed Reece James to cross for my man of the match, Raheem Sterling, to tuck home. On the brink of half-time, Bernardo Silva's cross found an unmarked Manuel Akanji between Reece James and Thiago Silva to leave it 2-2 at the break. I'm not sure who was supposed to be picking Manuel Akanji up, and City did have a lot of players in the box, but it's still such a poor goal to concede, especially just before halftime. Just 2 minutes into the second half, Foden and Alvarez combined well, as they did all game, with Alvarez eventually squaring it to Haaland, who bundled it over the line. I thought there were two Chelsea players today that weren't brilliant, and one of those players, Moises Caicedo, was partially responsible for this goal by taking himself out of the game with a very naive challenge in midfield. The other player, Nicholas Jackson, made it 3-3, capitalising on a poor bit of goalkeeping by Ederson, who palmed Conor Gallagher's long-range strike into the path of Jackson. I like a lot of what Jackson does, but he needs to be much better protecting the ball and improve his decision-making in those crucial moments. On the 86th minute, Rodri's strike deflected off the outstretched leg of Thiago Silva, and it looked at that point like it was another 3 points for the champions. However, 5 minutes into added time, Ruben Diaz launched in on Chelsea substitute Armando Broja, and City boy Cole Palmer converted coolly from the penalty spot to cap another superb performance from him. On how the team set up, Chelsea looked much better with two conventional fullbacks on the pitch. With Reece James in particular parading forward at every opportunity, this allowed Cole Palmer to tuck inside into arguably his more natural position, or his best position. Chelsea's pressing was excellent, with Conor Gallagher setting the tone as usual. Out of possession, Gallagher was supporting his teammates on whichever side of the pitch the ball was on, and paying special attention to Rodri whenever the ball was in the centre of the park. There were some top performances on the field today, but I wanted to highlight Conor Gallagher for Chelsea. I didn't think he was good enough to play for Chelsea last season, but he has improved so much, especially technically. It reminds me a little bit of Jordan Henderson's his early days at Liverpool. Hard-working, honest player, but maybe not good enough technically to make it at the top level, only for him to prove us all wrong, squeezing everything out of the talent that he does have. On Manchester City, I was surprised to see Jeremy Doku preferred to Jack Grealish in an away game against Chelsea. We know how much Pep Guardiola loves control, often at the expense of individual expression, but I did think that Jack Grealish's defensive capabilities alone would have warranted his inclusion today, given how much of a threat Reece James is going forward. For those same reasons, I thought there was a chance Bernardo Silva would start instead of Phil Foden, with Kovacic playing alongside Rodri in the midfield too, especially when there's no John Stones stepping into midfield. City's lack of control resulted in a really end-to-end shootout game for the entire 90 minutes, which for the neutral was fantastic to watch. When there's no John Stones stepping into midfield, I would like to see or like to hear what Manchester City fans think of Josko Variol at left back. It hasn't improved him defensively. It hasn't improved him offensively. You can't help but think the likes of Alexander Zinchenko, who they let go, would be more suited to playing that role, with Kyle Walker then tucking in a little bit more on the right hand side. The last point I wanted to make in this video, and it's something I've been really consistent with both in my videos and speaking with friends as well, which is that Chelsea are not in fucking crisis. They are in transition. Not to mention, they have had so many injuries to important players. Look how much better they look with Reece James in the side. Now put Ben Chilwell, Christopher Nkunku and Benoit Badiashile in that side as well. Pochettino has been there for 12 Premier League games. They have a young squad. The squad's been through a major overhaul. If they're still in 10th place at this same point next season, then we can all have that conversation. Anyway, those are my initial thoughts on another superb game of football. Please let me know what you agree or disagree with what I've said in the comments section. Give the video a like and please subscribe for more football related content. Cheers.